Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Just Love Games Network. This is GameStack Podcast episode 127. Strays Need You. I am your co-host, Vendertron. Joining me this evening is also the always beautiful Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hello.
How are you, my dear?
I'm a little sleepy, but I'm doing okay.
Did you have an afternoon nap?
I did not.
Are you like coming off of like a post-afternoon, like after work nap into the...
Unfortunately, no. I wish there had been a nap, but there were no naps to be had.
So how are you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah,
How was your week? No kittens on your doorstep, no lost bees or forest fires.
No. That was awful, the abandoned kittens. That stressed me out. But they were adopted, so.
Oh, really? They all went to happy homes?
Who just leaves kittens somewhere? Just
the same people who abandon animals should be abandoned themselves on the roadside.
Ugh. It's so terrible.
No, it's one thing to do terrible things to other humans. It's a whole other level if you do it to animals.
And they were just little babies, they were small little kittens. It was horrible.
Fuzzy. Well, at least you had like a day of like fuzzy little fur balls running around.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah, they were frolicking, and we gave them snacks, and it was a nice time.
So what happened this week in the world of Shalene?
I worked a lot and I didn't like it much. And now we're here.
Right. Well, my week wasn't too bad. I am hip deep in data for my research, so just been doing a lot of like analysis and reading transcripts after transcripts, and it takes a lot out of you. Reading people's stories with type 1 diabetes and what they've gone through and how they've become the people that they are today. It's an emotional roller coaster going through those things, but it's also a really enlightening experience too. So I'm a bit tired. Yeah. Coming off that solid week. I had some meetings on campus today. So I actually like went in, which was like, oh, it was terrible. There was like every route on my normal route that I drive to campus was under construction. So
that's horrible.
It was like terrible. And then when I got to campus, the parkade that I normally park in that's like $4 for the whole day was like boarded off because they're doing construction.
Yikes.
So I had to park in the surface lot, and it was like $12 for 2 hours. It's stupid. Anyways, I'm here now.
That's horrible. Best
corner of the internet. Welcome everybody who's coming into the show. We will not bore you with any more details from our, uneventful lives. But we love that you are here. If you are listening live, host us. And the host function on Twitch apparently is going to be going away. Twitch is doing away with the host ability. So as of October 3rd, you will no longer be able to host streams on Twitch. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I'm a little upset because I know that for a long time I'm going to continue to say host us on Twitch if you're watching live.
I know, we really have to edit the show notes, right?
I've been saying that for years and years, host us if you're watching live, and it's going to be a hard habit to break.
Yeah. Well, if you are listening live right now, grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a nice beverage, squat your butt on the couch or in the computer chair, or if you're driving in the car, don't fiddle with your phone. Pull over. Safety first. Enjoy the show this evening because we are going to talk about all kinds of things. Before we hop into some show-related things, we are sponsored by Oak & Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. And so thanks to our friends over in Oak & Crow for continuing to make excellent coffee. You should also just check out Oak & Crow's website. They've got some cool merch, some hats and mugs and shirts and stuff, and other various artisan coffees that you might enjoy if you are a coffee connoisseur. Is there anything else that we need to mention, Shalene, this week?
We are the number 5 video game podcast in Nigeria. So thank you to all of our listeners that use VPNs.
Oh no. And what about the Discord? What's going on in the Discord this week?
I haven't even been around very much. Let's see what's going on in there. There were some photos of a puppy today. I believe Amy got a puppy.
Oh really?
Yes, look at this puppy in the companions channel. Isn't he
Oh, wait, that's
precious?
Jessica Star's puppy.
Yes, keep scrolling up.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, she got a Rottweiler?
I don't know. He's
Oh.
adorable though.
Let's
He's
pull
a cute
this
little doggo.
let's pull this up for the listeners. Look at this. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Stand by. There we go. There we go. Look at this doggo.
He's so cute. So
Oh my
cute.
gosh. And
Love him.
he's like riding in the passenger
Mhm.
seat of the little John Deere ATV runabout. I don't know, whatever you call it.
Indeed.
Can we just also talk about Jessica Star's pug? Look at this thing.
Alistair.
Look at him. Look at his
Such a good pug.
look at his teeth. Just sticking out there on the bottom. I love
That dog
it.
is such a cutie.
Adorable. Yeah, the Discord's great. Companions channel is always never a disappointment for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, the HMS Titanic had posted some pictures of his bird pretty recently as well. Those were cute.
Cute. If you are interested in joining the Discord, Shalene, how can people go about doing that?
You can join the Discord by clicking the link right here on our Twitch page. That link is live whether or not the show is live. So you can visit twitch.tv/We Just Love Games at any time and click the link to join our Discord channel. Alternately, send us a message on social media and we'll send you the link. Yeah. But we do hope you would join us on there. It's a great way to keep in touch throughout the week.
Yeah. We do have some news to talk about this evening. GameStack has been very busy, so we're going to cover that. We've also got some mail to talk about and some screenshots and stories, and Shalene and I, are going to take you through our gameplay. But let's hop into the news with this just in. Take it away, Shalene.
Well, we are going to open up with a rather heartwarming story. Everybody's been talking about Stray, the game where you play as a stray cat.
Yeah.
And this article on the PlayStation blog is announcing Stray Reactions, a pet-loving photo event that supports the ASPCA. So, something that has been really noticed about Stray is that pets seem to love to watch it. You know, it seems
really?
to intrigue the IRL cats.
No.
People have been posting on social media the reactions as their cats and dogs run up to the screen and they're just watching this cat, you know, interact with the world. And it's very realistic cat animations. It's no surprise that they are fascinated by these by watching this.
Right.
And so PlayStation reached out to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the ASPCA.
I'm sorry. This video just automatically started playing on the article. Continue.
Yes, to turn player support for this game into support for real pets in need. In addition to a $25,000 donation to the organization, they wanted to create a digital photo book of pets who are in love with Stray. So to participate, starting yesterday through September the 23rd, you share photos or videos of your cat, dog, or other pet reacting to or posing next to Stray gameplay on the PlayStation, on Twitter or on Instagram using the hashtag Stray Reactions. And they will select their favorite videos and photos and combine them into a digital photo book to present to the ASPCA alongside the $25,000 donation.
That's so
They
cool.
will also include some of the posts in a sizzle reel that they will share on their blog and social channels. So use the hashtag Stray Reactions to post photos or videos of your pet watching you play Stray. And
that's so great.
Yeah. and it supports a good cause. That's a nice thing to do, to support animals in need.
And
So
you've played Stray, right?
yeah, I haven't finished it yet. I do have some Stray gameplay to talk about later in the show. I'm quite enjoying it so far.
Nice. I've moved into the type of player who likes to watch people play games that just come out before I decide to purchase them. So I've been watching a lot of streams, and it looks like so much fun.
Yeah, it's a good one. Quite
I
enjoying
think
it.
I don't know. Like I know that this is like kind of like an indie developed game, but I really hope that like more sequels come of
Yeah, I don't know.
strays on like in other environments. Like this one is primarily set in what, Tokyo or Japan
It's like a
somewhere.
cyberpunk futuristic Tokyo.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to build a whole new world
Hmm.
when you have no magic carpet. Sorry, that was okay. What else have you got?
What else have I got? A new fantastic point of view, um, based on the Epic Game Store. The Epic Game Store has revealed their new lineup of free games,
Ah,
and you can get Spirit of the North, which is a third-person adventure game inspired by the landscapes of Iceland, and a single-player sci-fi adventure game, The Captain. Those will be free to claim on Epic's PC Marketplace from September 15th through the 22nd. They will replace 100 Days Winemaking Simulator and Realm Royale Reforged Epic Launch Bundle, which are currently free through September the 15th. And the Epic Games Store gave away 89 free titles last year, down from 103 in 2020, with a combined value of $2,120. According to Epic, users claimed over 765 million free games in 2021. And the latest batch of free PC titles oh, wait, never mind. That's something we've already covered. Um,
wow.
but yeah,
765 million free games.
I have claimed a bunch of free games on Epic. I rarely play them though.
I think I might want to like
Yeah.
check out this spirit,
It
the,
looks really
the North
interesting. It looks like
Spirit.
you play as a fox.
Yeah, and you're like, I love everything that has to do with Iceland. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think Iceland is just one of the most fascinating places on earth. But
Yes, they have some amazing landscapes there.
yeah. So if I have the like, look at this. This is, I love it. Yeah, yeah. It's like Stray but Fox version.
That looks great. I'm interested in this.
Yeah, I may have to pay. Oh yeah. Look at his little glowy tail. He's
Oh
so
man, that is
cute.
gorgeous.
Oh, he's like tobogganing down the hill. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to like try this out.
Oh, he has a double jump.
Sorry, listeners.
What a
We're
beautiful
watching we're
game.
watching the quick gameplay trailer
Yes, it
of
looks beautiful.
Spirit in the North. Looks like a very rich storyline as well. So
I am
I'll have to
intrigued
check that
for
out.
sure. So definitely gonna check that out. Um, our next article is from Engadget. And this is a story about the first US video game studio to unionize.
Mm.
It is shutting down, unfortunately. Uh,
Oh.
the first video game studio in the United States to unionize, the Vodio Games, the developer of Beast Breaker, announced that it failed to secure funding to produce an additional release beyond its debut title. And a quote from Vodio Games says, despite a year of avid efforts, we've been unable to secure funding for our next project from publishers and investors. As such, we've run out of funds and aren't able to keep the team together. And there simply is no Vodio without our incredible team. Vodio was founded in 2021 by Three's designer Asher Walmer. The studio released its first game that same year. According to Vodio's website, it had been working on a new project before today's announcement. The studio will complete work on the Steam version of Beastbreaker before closing shop.
Oh,
Excuse me.
bless
I
you.
will sneeze there.
Bless you.
Yeah, so that is really unfortunate. They had an all remote team of 13 workers that were successfully unionized. And this is just really It's very
Now,
sad that these
okay,
people are losing
so
their jobs.
the title of the article seems to, in some indirect way, suggest that unionization was what led to this studio's downfall. But I don't think that that's the case here, right?
That does not seem to be the case. No,
So
they just
it's just that they
this
didn't have
happens to small
funding.
studios. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's too
this is a thing that
bad.
happens to small studios. It's not uncommon. But
Well, I'm sure
um,
that the team will find opportunities elsewhere, right?
yeah, they're I'm sure they're very talented designers, and um will find new opportunities.
Huh.
So I'm trying to think of a clever way to segue into this next one, but it's awful. So let's just rip the band-aid right off. GameStop has been basically wiretapping customers without their consent. I
Wait,
think
what?
wiretapping is it's a
Like
little clickbaity to
guys in a
say
van?
wiretapping.
Guys in a
It's
van down the
clickbaity to
street?
say wiretapping. But this Kotaku article by Luke Plunkett states that a suit has been filed in California accusing the game's retailer of recording conversations that customers have with the company's support service and then sharing the transcripts of those with a third party that boasts of its ability to harvest personal data.
Ugh. You know what?
Yay.
You know what, Shalene? This might be one instance that we know of, but this happens a lot more than
Uh-huh.
we know. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So the communications of all visitors who utilize the chat feature at GameStop.com and shares the secret transcripts of those wiretaps with a third party, the defendant neither informs visitors nor obtains their prior express consent to these intrusions, according to the suit. And of course, the most important thing here is not that these conversations are being recorded, it's that they are doing so without the consent of the people who are being recorded.
Right.
This is a violation of California's Invasion of Privacy Act, which states that website operators cannot create transcripts of visitors' conversations or provide such transcripts to third parties without obtaining prior express consent from all parties to the conversation. And the lawyers who filed the suit state that compliance with the California Invasion of Privacy Act is easy, and the vast majority of companies comply with the law by simply notifying website visitors if their conversations are being recorded. And that's not a big ask, really. Just how many times have you called a support number or engaged with a corporation and heard this conversation may be recorded for quality or training purposes? That's, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But they are sharing it with Zendesk, which is a third party that publicly boasts about its ability to harvest personal data from chat transcripts for sales and marketing purposes. And yeah, that's not great. So stop it. Stop it, GameStop. Don't do this. Don't do this anymore. This is just horrible. Why would you do that? Why
I
would you think
mean,
that was okay?
it happens more often than we think. Like, I get a lot of spam calls on my phone,
Mhm.
and I like to kind of like go along with it and like annoy the people on the other side that are in
Mhm.
a call center in India with no air conditioning. Um and this one time I asked the guy, I said, "How did you get my phone number?" And he said, "Oh, we got it from our data vendor." And I said, "What do you mean data vendor? You purchased my data?" And he just like hung up. And I
Yeah,
was
he,
like,
he
"What?"
realized that mistakes had been made.
I said, "What company?" Like, I thought to myself, "What company sold my data?
Mhm.
Which of these companies sold my data?" And it would be one of the ones that, of course, I put my phone number into, right?
Right.
It's probably Twitch, but
Oh, that's
anyways,
horrible. It's horrible.
yeah, that's really interesting. We have weird recording laws in Canada. you can record a private conversation as long as one of the people in the conversation
Yeah, New Mexico
consents.
is that way too.
So, like, if I'm the person secretly recording a conversation and I consent to that, then it makes it okay.
Yes, yes.
It's so strange. But
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
law that exists in many states in the United States too, and New Mexico is one of them.
I mean, recording meetings is super helpful for going back and like note taking. But I'm always like, is everyone okay if I record this meeting? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a thumbs
Yes.
up on the camera? Uh anyways. Well,
Oh
that's
dear.
odd. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Like GameStop is kind of a big company, right?
Yes, that's such a stupid thing to do.
Hmm.
Such a stupid thing to do. But
Well,
last week we discussed briefly, of course, Microsoft has this pending acquisition of Activision, which makes the Call of Duty franchise. And there was some discussion of whether or not Call of Duty would be made Xbox exclusive.
right.
And
Yeah.
according to this VG 24/7 article by Sheriff Said, Microsoft has offered to increase to increase their commitment that Call of Duty would remain on PlayStation for 3 more years beyond the current agreement. So PlayStation believes that this is just woefully inadequate, which I find really interesting because on the one hand, it sort of feels like Microsoft may be just saying this as a way to make their acquisition of Activision look a little bit less antitrusty.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they don't have to offer any years. They would be within their rights to offer 0 years. But they offered 3 years, and the quote from PlayStation is, after almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's really interesting to look at this from both sides. I understand why PlayStation gamers would be frustrated, and I also understand why it would be in Microsoft's best business interests to continue. I don't know.
Do you think that this is like a signal to the end of like console exclusives?
I don't think so. I think there will be console exclusives as long as there are more than one console. But
I
it
mean,
is
like
it is getting better.
the days of buying a console and getting Call of Duty with it, or like the Call of Duty edition. Like, do you think that's gonna like?
No, I don't think that will go away either.
Am I
I feel
grasping at
like
straws here?
yes,
Yeah.
a little
Okay.
bit, a little bit. Yeah, very interesting.
I mean, Call of Duty is what it is. Whatever. I mean,
It's a juggernaut.
I
It
don't
really
play it,
is.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
Microsoft seems to think that they can imply that it's not a system seller, but it absolutely is. It's not a game that I've played in a long time, a very long time. But
Well, and I
there are
mean,
still plenty of gamers out there who don't play video games. They play Call of Duty. It's a thing. And
I think what we're seeing is like, I don't know. We've always talked about how we would like the big players in the gaming industry to just play better in the sandbox with each other. But I think that this is like sort of demonstrating that we're moving away from that. But I mean, 3 years is still a long time, right?
I mean, maybe.
Like, there is some room for negotiation there.
Yes. And they definitely haven't said that at the end of the 3 years, any that any options would be closed.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
But I do feel like the fact that they've offered only 3 years may imply that they are just kind of saying that to get past the antitrust situation.
Perhaps, perhaps. Well, it's interesting all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Joseph Tao in chat. And as always, thank you very much, Joseph, for helping us put together the news.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice to see you're
oh,
back from your vacation.
yes.
There was much
Yeah.
speculation as to.
Mhm. Indeed. My allergies are so bad right now. I'm
Oh, are you like
like I'm
fighting to
struggling.
sneeze? Do you want me
I
to
am
continue on?
struggling not to sneeze, but I think I'm okay.
Okay, just let me know if you need to pass the torch.
Indeed, will do. So if I just suddenly drop, it's because I had to sneeze. Are allergies bad where you are? Have you
um,
had terrible allergies
well,
in Canada?
when I put my cat down, like
Oh,
when I was like
yeah.
25, so that would have been 7 years ago.
Mm.
I like instantly stopped getting allergies after that.
Wow.
So actually, no, I was 27 when I put him down,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
I always joked that like I had a cold for 27 years, and then it just like went away. I don't really
Yeah.
get allergies anymore. I'll have like 1 or 2 days out of the whole year where I'm like a non-functional blubbering mess of a human.
Yeah.
Um,
My seasonal allergies have been terrible this week. Just
yeah,
terrible.
I do have some pretty bad animal allergies. Yeah, so
Yes.
Taz is telling you to just drink a bunch of NyQuil and get through it.
No, we do not want the return of NyQuil Shalene on the podcast. That was whew,
uh,
gracious. That was a bad time.
that was a blast. I mean, it was a bad time for you, but I mean, Rick and I were thoroughly entertained. Yeah. Anyways,
Pokemon, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will kick off the next generation of Pokemon, and they have introduced some new features: two professors, a true open world, and legendary Pokemon that turn into motorcycles. Scarlet and Violet is looking like it's going to be pretty interesting.
are you going to play
And
this?
no, probably not. No, but I do know a lot of our audience is highly invested in the Pokemon franchise, so it's worth looking into. And it does look great. It's just, time is limited.
And
And
do we know who Scarlet and Violet are, or are these like new characters?
no, I think they're not names of people. It's just the names of the two different versions of the game. You know how they've done like
Oh, I
gold and
see.
silver
Yeah,
and
I see.
ruby and sapphire and stuff like that. Uh they have
Wow, I just showed my age there. Anyway,
oh goodness. So they released a new trailer which shows off the new treasure hunt mechanic, and it looks pretty fun. You start as an academy student, and the fire crew of Team Star is led by a character named Mila, and these are the school's troublemakers. So every Pokemon game has a team of baddies, who are in the wrong spots and make themselves a nuisance. And Team Star will be filling that role in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And this antagonist team looks like they may be a little more interesting than in some of the previous games. Enemy teams tend to be poison type Pokemon, and uh, this will have some different types that you'll be facing off against this time. They are also releasing a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet themed Switch OLED, and it's a really cool looking console. I love the Joy-Con in particular. Of course, the Joy-Con colors are Scarlet and Violet,
right.
and they have like a Academy little insignia on the Joy-Con. I think it looks really cool. And the Switch dock is white, and it's embellished with some legendary Pokemon. So specifically, they are the Corodon and the Miradon, which are two legendary dragon Pokemon. And it sounds great. You get to ride them, which is fun. Sounds like a great time. I would like to ride dragon Pokemon. Sounds great. So
Um, yeah, my Pokemon days ended with Game Boy Advance.
yeah, I didn't even play Pokemon back then. I Pokemon Go is really the extent of my Pokemon knowledge, and of course, I played a ton of Magikarp Jump. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, people.
No judgment here. This is a
Joseph
safe,
Tao
safe space, Shalene.
comments in the chat that in some of the old Pokemon stuff, the names of the games were the names of the manga characters for that respective game series, but that ended a few years back. That's interesting to know. Thank you, Joseph.
Joseph Tao is an encyclopedia for Pokemon.
He has encyclopedic knowledge of many video game related things.
Yes.
So
Yeah. It's
yes, we trust
impressive.
him implicitly.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could probably write a thesis on some of the games that you regularly play well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're absolutely just frauds up here, just trading off the expertise of Joseph Tao.
Yes, yeah.
So.
The show is literally hinged on the pillars of Joseph Tao.
So on the subject of Nintendo games, now that we've thoroughly embarrassed Joseph,
He's never coming back. We're that next week's news is just gonna be like tumbleweeds. We'll be like, what are we gonna do now?
But to carry on with Nintendo news, Metroid Prime's developer Retro was at one point working on a Zelda game, and they called it an experiment gone wrong. This is a
no.
VG247 article by Oisin Kunke.
Oh, okay.
I've got nothing. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I've made an attempt. But thank you. Kunki. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
And this was a game by Retro Studios that would have starred Sheik as the main character. Retro Studios, of course, is best known for the Metroid Prime series, but at one point it was working on a Zelda game that would have cast Sheik in the leading role. And did you know Gaming recently put out a video speaking with one of the programmers that worked on this project? Concept art for the game was released in 2020, with the game supposedly intending to have a darker tone that would tell an origin story of the Master Sword, set in a timeline where Link fails to beat Ganon in Ocarina of Time. And as a result of that artwork being released, programmer Paul Tozier was willing to talk about it, and also an anonymous source, though it didn't sound like it was a great game. And Tozier said, I see people commenting on that concept art on the internet saying, oh my God, Retro was working on a Zelda game. That would have been so awesome.
All right.
I understand that feeling. But what they have to understand is that it was not actually a Zelda game. At no point was it anything like Zelda. It was an experiment gone wrong that happened to be set in the Zelda universe.
Interesting.
The gameplay sounded very simplistic. It was described as something like whack-a-mole, where Sheik would be set up against a pack of wolves that took turns to attack, and you would flick the Wiimote to hit them, and that was pretty much the extent of the gameplay. So this game was rejected. It was not good. Nintendo was not a fan, and it never saw the light of day. And I think it's very easy to assume that a company like Retro can do no wrong. But of course, every company has missteps. Every human being has missteps. And it's probably for the best that this one stayed on the cutting room floor.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, would you have played it?
Of course I would have played it. I was that person who had like a bunch of hours in Link's crossbow training on
right,
the
right.
I had the peripheral that was like the little gun, and it was grand.
Yeah.
And I have some very special memories of Link's crossbow training because my grandparents decided to try it out.
Oh,
and of course my
is.
grandparents are some very old school cowboy type people.
Yeah.
And they have incredible aim. So they
Right,
mopped the
right.
floor with me at Link's
Your was
crossbow
what
training. They were so good at it.
was your grandpa like, hold on, I gotta get my holster.
You're teasing, but this is a man who wore a holster for much of his life.
Yes, yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we had to confiscate a number of holsters as he began to age, but that's another story entirely.
Hey, speaking of the Wii, actually, we all know the news. The royal family, the queen has passed away, etc., etc. But I was, there's all these things, stories floating around social media about her life and what her interests were, and things like that. And I read this
Thinking
one
about the
article.
golden Wii, huh?
I read this article that was the rumor was that her favorite console was the Wii.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So she,
wasn't she gifted a golden Wii?
I'd
I thought she was gifted like a 24 karat gold Wii.
maybe.
We're gonna
I
Google
know that
this.
she had gifted Prince Andrew a Wii console one year, and so maybe it's because I don't know. So the rumor
Okay.
is that was her console of choice.
So this is an Ars Technica article. The 70-year reign of Queen Elizabeth II, which ended yesterday with her death, will be remembered for many historical events, etc., etc., etc. And it will also be remembered for a marketing stunt from a now defunct video game publisher that sent a gold-plated Wii to Her Majesty. The story of the Queen's connection to the Nintendo console begins in early 2008 when the UK tabloid The Sunday People published a lightly sourced story alleging that the gadget-loving Queen has become hooked on Prince William's new Nintendo Wii games console.
Prince William. That's what
An
it is.
unnamed palace source told the paper that the Queen begged to join in after seeing the 25-year-old William play with his Christmas gift from then girlfriend Kate Middleton. And the 81-year-old monarch reportedly had hand-eye coordination that was as good as somebody half her age and showed all the signs of becoming a Nintendo addict. Fast forward to 2009, when THQ launched Big Family Games. In the US, this was called Neighborhood Games for the Wii. It was a badly reviewed Wii Sports knockoff that focused on games like bocce, horseshoes, and ladder golf, and is basically only remembered because of this marketing stunt. They sent a copy of the game to the royal family, as arguably the most important family in the country. And to give the story some extra oomph, THQ commissioned a gold-plated Wii to send alongside the game because we thought that Her Majesty the Queen wouldn't want to play on any old console.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's
So
so
the
like
Queen's
over the top.
golden Wii. It's just fantastic. Gold-plated Wii. It's brilliant.
Queen
It is
Queen
a
Wii.
worth reported to be
It's
worth
Queen's Wii.
$36,000.
What? That's why they went under.
So, yes.
Okay, anyways, on with our regular scheduled program. Sorry for
That was
that
a grand diversion. I
slight
loved
deviation
it.
from our
Yes.
broadcast here.
Possibly the best part of the show. So let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077. This is another VG247 article by Connor Makar. And this game is going to be getting some new content.
Oh.
But the DLC will not be coming to the older generation of consoles.
Oh.
CD Projekt Red gave an update on the future of Cyberpunk 2077. And this game has gone from a rocky launch to being pretty highly regarded.
Oh.
And there is the patch that released recently on the 7th, I believe, September 7th. Patch 1.6 is the last update that will be pushed out to the last gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, the final update. So this game, it was never a good fit for those old consoles. And honestly, I think they should not have released it cross-platform.
Right.
I think they should have kept it on the current gen consoles, and they are ready to let go. I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard not to sneeze. Um, yes, it's been 2 years since the release of this game, and removing the need to run on the older hardware opens up some more creative and technical possibilities. And Keanu Reeves will return for the game's DLC. So,
Cool.
yeah.
You know, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. Maybe I'll wait for the DLC and then I'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll like try to pick it up on like a sale or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it looks fantastic. I think that a lot of the problem is just that they should not have released it on the older consoles.
well,
I
Cyberpunk is the product of crunch culture in the gaming industry. Like it was a game that was pushed before it should have been released because
Mhm,
deadlines and expectations, right? So
indeed. I do have a really neat cyberpunk like windbreaker jacket that I got at E3. I love
oh, I
that jacket.
remember
I wear
that.
it
Yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah,
I wear it
yeah.
all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that jacket. I feel so cool when I wear it, and like there's nothing cool about me. I'm a little nerdy girl, and I just feel like a badass when I wear my cyberpunk jacket. So, you know what else is not that badass is Dreamlight Valley, the new game from Disney. Uh, but while it's not badass, I'm hearing that it is pretty excellent. We are looking at a Kotaku article by Zach Wiesen. This is a life sim that is filled with quests and with Disney Pixar characters that you can befriend. And this was lauded before its release as a bit of an Animal Crossing knockoff, but with Disney characters.
Oh.
And I think now that people have gotten their hands on it, it seems to be much, much more than that. It is an excellent game in its own right. And I think this is the kind of game that is going to destroy people's lives. I really do think.
Are you gonna get it?
I think I might be one of those people who would have their life destroyed. So
Yeah, yeah.
probably I shouldn't. Excuse me.
I mean, it looks it
Goodness.
looks enchanting,
It really
but
does,
you know,
doesn't it?
Disney is enchanting. That's what they do. They
It
are the
has a bit
masters of
more of a
enchantment.
focus on narrative than a game like Animal Crossing. So that is something that will be compelling to people who are not fans of Animal Crossing. And this game was developed by Gameloft. It is a third person life simulator, and it has all of Disney's iconic and beloved characters coexisting with each other. And something terrible has infected the world, causing problems that only the player can solve. In this case, it is something called the Forgetting, which manifests as dark tendrils and thorny vines all around the valley. Isn't that a thing from one of our childhood stories, the Forgetting? Isn't that a thing? Was that
Uh,
it? Was that something from like Neverending Story or something? I don't know.
I know that
But
there was like, I mean, there's this common theme in like fantasy about like rotting, you know,
yes,
like darkness and like
yes.
land turning, dying and stuff.
So
Stranger Things.
you can clear this up and help your favorite Disney characters like Mickey or Scrooge McDuck remember who they are, where they are, and all of the friends who have gone missing since the vines showed up. So, right out of the gate, one of the biggest differences is that it is narrative focused instead of just being more of a sandbox. Quests have multiple steps. There are dialogue options as you choose between uh, different actions that you can take. Characters respond differently depending on what you say, and you can lose out on dialogue options depending on what you choose.
Hmm.
It's a little bit deeper than Nintendo's usual basic writing in things like Animal Crossing. And eventually you can access side quests, and it's looks pretty great. Sherry,
I love
one of the
that you
dames, has
can
been
she's
playing it.
oh really?
Yes, and she is addicted. She is very hooked on this game. In the Dames group chat today, she said that she thinks Dreamlight Valley is better than Animal Crossing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a bold claim.
That is a bold claim, and I feel like maybe I should never ever play this game because it might destroy my life.
It looks very, like I said it before, enchanting.
Hmm.
They had me at the scene where you can. Oh my God! Look at Buzz Lightyear just walking around on the pavement. It's tiny little. Um, they had me at cooking with Ratatouille.
Oh, you can cook with the little ratatouille rat? That's
Yeah,
adorable.
yeah.
That sounds
Anyways,
great.
Dreamlight Valley, check it out. It's
I'm
available now
for
on
it.
Nintendo Switch.
Sounds great. So our next article is another dark one, and it's again about GameStop.
Oh no.
Uh, the GameStop chairman's co-defendant in an insider trading suit has been found dead.
Oh
Bath and
gosh.
yes. Bed Bath and Beyond CFO Gustavo Arnal dies weeks after he and Ryan Cohen were accused of a pump and dump scheme on the homeware retailer's stock.
Bed Bath and Beyonce, really?
We shouldn't be laughing. This is very serious still. I apologize for laughing. But Arnal, the CFO, who was named alongside GameStop chairman Ryan Cohen in a lawsuit alleging insider trading, was found dead on Friday, according to Business Insider. He was 52, and he had joined Bed Bath & Beyond 2 years ago after stints at Avon, Walgreens, and Procter & Gamble. And the retailer said that he was instrumental in guiding the organization through the pandemic. Bed Bath & Beyond shares spiked in March after Cohen revealed that he had acquired almost 10% of the company's shares through his firm RC Ventures, and the retailer made an agreement with RC Ventures to put 3 of Cohen's choices on the board of directors, and soon after, the board of directors ousted the company's CEO. And after an early August meme stock run quadrupled the price of Bed Bath & Beyond shares, Arnal and RC Ventures both sold, with Arnal dumping $1 million worth of shares and RC Ventures shedding its entire stake in the company. In response, the stock plummeted, and an investor filed a class action lawsuit against Cohen and Arnal within the week. A little more than a week after the suit was filed, Bed Bath & Beyond announced plans to close 150 stores and lay off 20% of
Wow.
its corporate staff. Yes, the suit alleges that the defendants knew the information they disclosed was false, and they took advantage of inflated stock price and used fraudulent and misleading SEC filings to sell all their shares and options at artificially inflated prices to unsuspecting and innocent public investors, and then retained control of the profits. The suit also alleges that Cohen has historically employed pump and dump schemes to raise much needed capital and has ignited several meme stocks to jaw-dropping heights. So that's GameStop shadiness. So
Yeah, but so you mentioned like he jumped around. He was with Avon, and then he was with.
that was Arnal, the person who is deceased. Cohen is the one who is the GameStop
Right.
associate.
But like this person, it sounds to me like they are more of a consultant of a certain type. If they're
Mm-hmm.
hopping around to these companies, shooting the stock up, and then departing.
Yeah, it's
Um,
seems a little bit like a
See,
scheme.
like if this was in Russia, the headline would read "Major Investor Falls Out of Hospital Window." Um, but and they didn't say anything about like the cause of death.
No,
Of course, I guess
no.
if there's an
I'm
open
sure there's a
class
pending
action
investigation as well.
lawsuit, I guess that would be considered confidential until yeah.
Indeed.
Fascinating. Well, our condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Arnall, of course, but that seems pretty shady.
It does seem
GameStop.
incredibly
I wonder
shady.
what their stock price is. GameStop stock price.
Is GameStop not one of our
$28
our
US. And it's significantly up in the last few days.
wow.
Like up by like almost $5,
Yeah.
$6.
When the whole meme stock thing was going on, it was like $500 a share or something.
Well, the stock basically between the middle of August and now has halved. It was trading at about $40 and it's now down to like $25. So, but
So the final thing that I have is that Fallout segment. I did want to chat a little bit about the upcoming update for Fallout 76.
tell
This is
us.
a major one.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
yes, I am looking at the Fallout Bethesda.net Inside the Vault article. And next week on September 13th, we will have the update that adds the pit and the arrival of expeditions to Fallout 76. So you can check out a dev dive video on YouTube or on Bethesda.net that will take you a little deeper in to show you a deeper look at the pit and expeditions. And there's also some information that you may want to keep in mind before patch day. So this is high level content. You should be a higher level character. So if you want to tackle this with a new character, you should probably take some time to level them up and get them geared up appropriately. And some new information. I'm just going to read through these bullet points. The responders are back. A new crop of responders have come together to revive the former faction's noble mission. They've even taken up residence at the White Spring Resort, which they're now calling the White Spring Refuge. In addition to supporting refugees and new arrivals in Appalachia, they hope to use their recently restored vertibird to lend aid to distant settlements. Complete daily quests for the responders at the White Spring Refuge to charge up the vertibird's ultracell battery and lead expeditions to your first destination, the pit. Embark on missions, fire up your vertibird, and take flight to the pit alongside up to 3 other teammates. And you can take on repeatable missions, Union dues, and from ashes to fire. Rendezvous with Union local leaders Hex and Danilo to aid their people fighting back against the bloodthirsty and tyrannical fanatic raiders. And make sure that you are packing some firepower. They are not the only threat lurking in the shadows of the pit. Of course, there are trogs, as you may remember from the Fallout 3 expansion. I hate them. They're scary, and I don't like them. Yes. So there are new rewards for these missions in the pit. You will be rewarded with legendary gear, script, treasury notes, loot, and XP. And there will be a new plan from the Expedition Rare Rewards pool. And that includes gear mods, camp objects, pit-themed items, and more. And everyone on the team will also earn stamps based on their performance during a mission. Stamps are a new currency that you can use to purchase specific items from Giuseppe, who is a new merchant who will be added at the White Spring Refuge. And I'm a little annoyed that they've added yet another currency to this game. It has so many currencies.
That makes like what, 4 now?
More than 4. Archon and I were talking about it, and we had to use both hands to count. So
what? That seems
there
a bit
are
silly.
many currencies. It's very silly. And along with the pit and expeditions, they will be introducing season 10 of the scoreboard. And this will be called the City of Steel. You can rank up and get new rewards, including the auto axe and Union power armor. And honestly, I'm not super thrilled about the scoreboard rewards for this new season. My favorite thing is probably the this season's Stein, which is in the style of an old-timey coffee thermos.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. And that's really my favorite part of the rewards. But the rest of it is not very compelling for me in particular. The auto axe was a lot of fun in Fallout 3, so looking forward to checking that out. Arshin tells me that you can put a flamethrower mod and use it with the friendly fire perk, which I think sounds like a great time. So definitely want to do that.
Like, my memories of the pit in Fallout 76. 3. Yes, you had to like fight some stuff. It was like part of the Raiders thing, right?
No, the pit was in Fallout 3, and you went there, and there it was a whole storyline where you were in the steel yard, and you had to collect steel ingots in the steel yard, and there was the story with
Gosh, I don't remember
the
that at all.
the cure. You were finding a cure for a disease, and then spoilers for Fallout 3 from 20 years ago. The cure was a baby.
Oh, yes, I
Remember,
remember
you had to
now.
decide what to do with the baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm pretty sure I condemned everybody to die and just let the baby grow up being
Yeah.
happy.
Me too.
But yeah, it was a very neat looking setting, and I'm interested in returning there.
So when is
So
that coming?
Tuesday, the 13th. I'm very excited about it.
Ooh,
I'm looking forward to having new content to check out in this game. So
excellent. Well, that's
mhm.
exciting.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
That's all you've got. Okay. Well, that is our news for the evening. So I'm gonna roll into I'm gonna roll into the stocks right now. And I apologize for that slight delay in my speech there. I was trying to like juggle things at the same time.
I mean, I
Um
don't think you need to worry. I've been having long, extended
yeah.
pauses of trying not to sneeze.
So we've got some information about the stocks. This is a 7-day report based on our last episode of GameStack podcast. And as you can see here, stocks overall are still underperforming compared to the last time we had posted. And it's a bit deceiving because many of the stocks that we talk about on the show have actually increased in their share price. So Sony actually closed at $1.58 lower than last week at $75.38. Microsoft up $8.40 at $264.46. Nintendo up 80 cents at 51.10. 127.78 for Take-Two, up $9.50. Activision and Ubisoft saw a decrease. Activision closing out 98 cents lower than the previous week at 78.51. Ubisoft at $7.31 down, almost $1.50. EA was up $3.60, closing at 128.93. Tencent down $2.59, closing at 38.83. And of course, these prices are posted and coming to you as of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 9th of 2022. And as I like to include now a little bit of an analysis of the stock market as well. So as you can see, for our audio listeners, there is a small graph on our
I love that you started graphing the stocks.
yeah, it's just a nice way to look at it because
Oh yeah.
this although we see our increase in share prices in some of these stocks, they are actually underperforming. So like Ubisoft, for example, decreased by about $1.46 compared to our previous week, but they actually seen an 18.3% decrease in stock share performance. So, the recommendation for most of these companies on our list, Activision Blizzard is listed as a hold, EA listed as a moderate buy, as is Microsoft and Nintendo and Sony. Tencent Holdings is listed as a hold, Take-Two Interactive listed as a moderate buy, and Ubisoft Entertainment listed as a hold. That is the video game stocks for this week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now we've got some mail, right?
You've got mail.
Have some mail.
Let's pop into our mailbox and see who sent us some
entirely
letters.
possible that I forgot we had a bumper for that.
It's okay. I'm gonna roll it again
You've got mail.
because I like it so much.
It's a good bumper.
Right? I hope we don't get sued.
So these are sourced from our Discord. There's a channel called MailStack. And if you have a question or discussion topic for the show, drop it into the MailStack and we will get to it.
Excellent.
This one comes from Jessica Starr. She says, if the hosts had to design their ideal game, what genre would it be, and what would you need to be included? Obviously, for a dream game, you could throw the kitchen sink at it. So for the question, you must limit yourself to 2 to 3 essentials your ideal game must contain. So vendor, what are you putting in your ideal game? What are the 2 to 3 essentials that you would include?
What are we classifying as essentials? Are these objects? Are they tools, weapons, characters, worlds?
Yes.
Okay. You first.
Okay. I was trying to do that to you, but you put down the Uno reverse card. I see. Thanks a lot. My game would probably be a single player RPG, a single player open world RPG. And things that would have to be included is there would have to be a great dialogue system. That would be one of my essentials. It would need to have deep branching dialogue that I could play the game many times and have different experiences depending on the choices that I make. It would have to have difficulty options, which I feel like I'm being very basic here, but I think difficulty options are so important for a game like that, because there are times when you just want to focus on that story experience, the dialogue experience that you're having.
Yeah.
And, you're not feeling up to the challenge of combat. But there are also times when you want combat to be tough as nails and you want to throw yourself against things. And let's see, a third essential for the game would be my ideal game. It's an RPG with a deep dialogue system and difficulty options, customizable difficulty. And it would also, let me think. It would have loads and loads of side quests, but they're good side quests. It's not like Skyrim's Radiant quests that just keep going and going forever and mean nothing. They would be scripted side quests, many scripted side quests with storylines and stuff.
That sounds awesome.
Yes.
All of it. I think for me, an open world hiking survival simulator.
Oh, that sounds great.
Right? So, and you could choose many different types of biomes, right? You can, if you want to hike in the mountains, you can hike in the mountains. If you want to hike the Grand Canyon, you can do that. It's based on real world trails. And it's really technical. So you've got to build like loadouts for your character. You've got to check the weather. You've got to choose the right type of clothes and make sure you have layers. You've got to pack your pack. So you've got to select the items that you can bring in your pack, and you can only carry so much weight. And the more trails you do, the more your character levels up, the stronger you become, the better you are at having stamina on the trail, being able to go longer without having to eat food or drink water, etc. So character component and character building is critical, but then there also needs to be PvE elements. So weather, I can tell you I've been on the top of a mountain in a lightning storm with hail that is marble size. It is probably one of the scariest experiences of my life because you're really close to the clouds and you're hiking with hiking poles on a mountain. It's not exactly the safest place to be. So weather components, I think, even like hiking in like extreme heat, and that changes your character. I would also like to see other PvE elements like wildlife. But also, there needs to be a foraging component to it because you are surviving as well. So there can be random events where you suddenly get off trail and you get lost. And you've got to like go into survival mode. Like if you've got to camp out on the mountain, you need to make sure that you have everything in your pack to be able
Right.
to survive the night. And it gets cold at night, right? Like it drops down to 0 degrees. And so that's the second thing, the PvE world elements. The third thing I would say that I would like to see would be, again, side quests, like you said. I would like to see, like, you can discover caves. You can discover ruins. You can
That
discover
would be so fun.
old mining operations or like fossils. There's a whole index for fossils, and like you collect certain things, and then there's like a whole like encyclopedia on what type of fossil it is, and like then there's like the science behind it, which era, and yeah.
Okay, your
That's what I
game
would like to
sounds
see.
really fun, and I think we need to kickstart it right now.
Right?
Who
How
knows how to
cool.
make video games? Let's
Anyone?
do it.
Anyone? I think a hiking simulator would be awesome, and it's always something that I've wanted. The closest I've
Yeah.
come to a hiking simulator is Death Stranding. So
Yeah, I think that is pretty much a hiking sim.
I just got a text
Interesting.
from my hiking buddy. Hiking's on for Sunday. Mountains or plains? What do we think, chat? Mountains or plains?
You usually opt for mountains, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Some plains hiking might be nice.
We were thinking about doing like there's this place called Buffalo Jump or something. It's like a desert area.
Yes.
But,
I feel
yes.
like there would be different flora and fauna to look at.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like I said, like discovering things, all the different mushrooms. Discover them all.
and plants,
and all the plants.
and flowers. Have
and
an
it's
index
like,
of them.
right? And then you could just like auto-populate all of that data from
Yes.
Google, right?
You could use a camera to build your
Use
collection.
your smartphone.
Yes. That would be great.
Yeah.
I love this game. I want to play it. I wish it existed.
What else have we got on the mail stack?
So the next one comes from RTZ13, and he says, I have a question for you, maybe a bit philosophical. Looking at all the big corporations buying up the little ones got me thinking. Let's fast forward 15 to 20 years into the future when all game developers and publishers have been bought up by a mega corporation. Call it the game company. What are your biggest fears that could happen to new games? Quality drop? Everything free to play? Subscriptions only? Game Pass will be $200 a month without any alternatives? And this one, I don't have to pull the Uno reverse card and send this straight to you because I have an immediate answer. My greatest fear would be homogeneity of games. It would just be, we would just be getting the same game over and over. And there would be some slight changes in character skins and stuff, but I think that innovation would dry up and cease. If we had only one corporation making all the decisions with no competition, there would be a lack of innovation. We would just be playing the same game over and over again, and it would be sad and colorless and joyless.
Wow. I don't know. Okay, so we're making the assumption that this dystopian world is here, because I actually don't think that really is what's going to happen in 15 to 20
No, I
years
don't
time.
either. We're just we're using our imagination.
Right, because video games are an art. They're an art form, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't squash that. But I think that I think absolutely we'll see a decrease in quality of games. I think things will be games as service 100%. And
I would hate that.
And you wouldn't be buying a console, you would be renting a console, like you do with an internet service provider or a cell phone. You just get a console from the gaming company, and they come out and they set it up for you, and they tap it into your house network so that they can control the content that you play. And
it's gonna have baked in ads, isn't it?
Baked in ads everywhere. And the ads don't just play within your console, they play across all your devices in your house. So they're on your TV, they're on your cell phone, they're on your microwave. Yeah, that's what I think will happen.
I hate this dystopian future.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. But then I also think as a byproduct of that, people will go back to playing board games.
There's that. So Joseph Tao in chat says there's a game that Peter Molyneux made called The Trail Frontier Challenge back in 2017 that you might want to look at. It's a very basic version of what you described. So that sounds great. Thank you, Joseph. I think that's all of the mail that we're going to get to today. That dystopian future
has
horrified
let's just
me.
Cut it off there.
Deeply and profoundly. We will get to our next items in the mail stack next week.
If you've got something that you would like to add to anything that we've talked about on the show, or if you just want to ask us a question and get some conversation rolling, how can people do that, Shalene?
You can go to our Discord page and drop your questions or comments into the mail stack. Alternately, you can send us an email. We still have that email address, info@wejustlovegames.com, info@wejustlovegames.com.
Excellent. Well, now we've got to roll into our favorite part of the show, and that is screenshots and stories, what the community is playing.
My timing was off.
Oh, it was perfect. It was perfect. So this first image is courtesy of myself. And Jess and Hobbit and I found a fourth for our group.
Amazing.
Grim, who I often play Sea of Thieves with, he joined us the other night for shenanigans in Deep Rock Galactic. So Grim.
Okay, I just want to guess.
Okay.
I'm guessing that you are the white-haired fellow with his hands in the air.
Nope.
No? Okay. Then you are the ginger in the back.
Yes.
Okay. And the beardy dwarf on the right is Jess.
Nope.
Nope. So she's the fellow on the left?
Jess is... Nope.
Is Jess the white-haired guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I suck at this game. Who are the other two?
So the one on the far right with the wicked cool beard is Grim. He definitely has more hours in Deep Rock Galactic than we do. He was Sherpaing.
His beard is magnificent.
He was Sherpaing us. And then Hobbit is the gentleman on the right in the bowler cap?
The bowler.
With the green goatee and mustache and sideburns. But
very cute.
yeah, so we're up at the Abyss Bar, just having we popped the jukebox on and we were all dancing, so I got a picture of this. Lloyd's in the background, but you can't see him. And yeah, so this is just a shot of Deep Rock Galactic. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Got to play with a fourth person.
Grand.
This image.
Ooh.
Stand
this is
by.
probably some Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, describe it for our listeners.
So we've got a rabbit person who is popping a champagne bottle in front of some kind of a structure with seashells on it, and they have a cat, I believe. I think
yeah, it looks like a cat. Let's zoom in here.
They're looking absolutely fabulous.
That is not a cat. That is a tiny little person.
Oh, it's a tiny person. They're so cute. Look at that.
I think that there's another tiny little person over.
Oh, yes, that is a second tiny person. Who are these tiny people?
Little itty bitty little people.
Is that a player character? Is that somebody's player character?
I don't know, but there's a sign
Can
here.
you read that little?
There's a sign in the background, but it's just gibberish. It doesn't.
Somebody who plays Final Fantasy 14 needs to let me know if these teeny tiny people are playable characters. Because I am intrigued. But the person in the foreground popping the champagne is a rabbit person, and they look amazing.
And this was posted to us by Vexinator, and they say, got my free island in Final Fantasy 14. Now it's time to gather all of my materials and build it up.
Lovely.
This next one, can you recognize
this is
it?
some Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb. Moxie86 posted this, and they say, okay, having a lot of fun with Cult of the Lamb.
I'm intrigued by this game. I may have to try it someday.
And for our audio listeners, it is a purpley type image of her little lamb camping in the woods. She's got their tent and some candles and a little fire, and it's just sitting by the fire, keeping warm.
How cute.
This next one is also Call to the Lamb, and it looks like she's in some sort of ritual.
This is some very culty situation that we have
Yes.
here.
Yes.
We've got like a summoning circle
Uh-huh.
with a flaming pentagram or something in the middle.
And then this next one is this is also it's very culty. The lamb is in now a what looks to be a church of some kind.
It's a church-like building.
You can see
The
the
lamb's
whites of the lamb's eyes.
holding some kind of presumably sacred text in front of an altar, and he is standing in front of a banner that's got the Eye of Mordor on it and some praying hands done in neon lights. This is incredible.
I love it. Oops. Okay, next one. New set from RTZ13. He says, initially, Deathloop didn't click for me, but after my second try, I'm having a blast. 15 hours in now. Usually awesome Arcane Dishonored style gameplay. Deus Ex-like searching for clues and codes. Map has an amazing 60s aesthetic, such as classic Bond / No One Lives Forever. And the island's mood reminds me a lot of Inception. And so this first image is him standing on a cliffside, with some sort of compass radio device and a revolver, it looks like. Some sort of souped up revolver. Another image here from inside an air hangar. And you know what? It actually almost looks like concept art, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. This has a bit of a filter on it, this image.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's the art style of Deathloop. It's got that.
Yeah. And another one here in a passageway with a bunch of lasers. Looks like it's snowy outside. There's an inscription on a rock on the left. It says, Igor is an idiot. I'm not sure who Igor is, but...
we know he's an idiot.
And then in this one from it's like a shot inside of some bougie mid-mod century hotel with interesting walls with cutout circles. Again, the same revolver in tow.
This looks really good.
Some art sculptures on the left. Actually kind of like those sculptures.
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. And this last one, he says, also note there is a button for kicking. And I'm not sure, he's standing on the edge of the cliff in this one, and he's holding a knife. And he's looking at the backside of somebody who looks to be playing a guitar, looking over the edge of the cliff.
Mm-hmm. This poor fellow is about to get kicked off this cliff into eternity.
Yeah, that's sounds about right. And then we have some pictures from Setsua, who
welcome back, Setsua.
Reports that he visited, I believe, Disneyland and what appears to be the Star Wars, what do you call it, exhibit?
Yeah, I forget what
park?
It's called, but that whole Star Wars thingy.
It's like an actual
very
set,
rad
right?
lightsaber that he's got. Yeah.
So he's got he's got a lightsaber, and then this one here is a shot of this incredible tree that's all carved out. I'm not sure what it's not Star
like
Wars, but
no, that's like the Lion King, isn't it? It's the circle of life.
Sorry. And then also, I was going to show the picture of him in the Star Wars thing, and also his son, but I didn't want to for privacy reasons, of course.
Yeah.
These next images come from Taz, and he says the first pic gives context for the second, fighting zombies in 7 Days to Die. It's a picture of the National Forest sign, and then also a picture of a road sign to Albuquerque, Santa Fe. And I feel like we've showed this one before.
We've seen a similar sign, not the same screenshot, I believe, but we've seen this sign from this game before.
Ah, okay.
Because I was trying to figure out where they were, that these distances were all accurate.
And then we've got a few IRL hiking simulator shots from 4 Mile. And she says we have a cool trestle bridge 15 minutes from where we live, and I've never been there before. And so the first shot is a picture of looking down on the trestle bridge from the side of it, And then there's another one here from just a different side shot. It looks very intense. I'm not sure where this is, but it looks cool. And then a picture of the river that runs under the bridge,
Gorgeous.
presumably from on top of the bridge, I believe. And then, of course, every good hike always should end with a nice day on the patio, sitting by the fire. And so
Lovely.
she's got a picture of a fire pit. That's screenshots and stories. We do have a bit of a backlog. So that was about 20 images that we've shared from listeners. And
I
we
love
have
this segment.
like another 10 or 15 to go through for next week. So very excited to show those next week. We apologize if we didn't get your images in, but you can definitely expect to see them next week. So that's what the community is playing. Let's talk about what we're playing. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
So I've just been playing a bit of Deep Rock Galactic this week. Jess and I have got promoted.
Ooh.
When you start out, you work towards, getting promoted so that you can access some different parts of the lobby. One is called the Forge, which is where you can like mod your weapons. And then the other one is called Deep Dives. And Deep Dives are like the hard expeditions. It's a
Like end game content.
Well, I mean, there isn't really anything end game about Deep Rock because it's session based. But the Deep Dives are like, it's sessions, but it's 3 sessions. So you don't actually because normally what you do when you do a mission, you select the region, you go to the mission, and then you show up back in the space station in the lobby. But the Deep Dive is a 3-phase mission. So you do the first phase, then you move, if you do that successfully, you move to the second phase. And if you finish that, then you move on to the final phase. Well, let me tell you, this is some of the hardest video game play I have encountered in a very long time.
Wow.
Jess and I, on the first sort of stab at the Deep Dive, failed miserably. Didn't even make it through the first round. Jumped back in, made it to the second round, failed miserably. Then we thought, okay, maybe we need a third person, because that would be helpful. But the game is instanced, so the more people you add, the harder it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried about 4 times with Hobbit, and we made it to the second phase every time, and we got totally obliterated.
Yikes.
Then we brought Grim in as a 4th person, which actually was going well. It was going well.
So Grim is a ringer, huh?
Yeah. And he had this plan. We were going to build these platforms in this fortress to like protect us, but then the platforms were too low. And there's this thing called a detonator. You should look it up, Deep Rock Galactic detonator. It is this ugly looking grotesque creature with these large fireballs sticking out of it, and it literally detonates and it blows up and it leaves this huge crater in the asteroid that you're mining. And you don't want to get close to this thing. And when you kill it, you don't want to be anywhere near it, because when it blows up, you're dead. Anyways, this thing was above us, above the platforms that we placed that were like right above our heads, and it detonated and it instantly killed all 4 of us. So that was the end of that round. And then we decided to just sort of call it quits for the night, pick it up the next day. So Jess and Hobbit and I did a couple the next day. And again, same thing, kept only making it to the second phase. Super challenging. And I was thinking to myself, now we're starting to like strategize and think about like what we're doing wrong. And we're trying to figure out like each time there has to be something that we learn from our failures, but we're not learning. And the things that we have sort of realized that are really helpful is that you have to stick together. In the regular missions, you can usually sort of split off and go and mine different minerals and do your own thing, and then like meet back up, and it's okay because you can handle little mobs of aliens that come and attack you. But in the Deep Dive, if you're alone by yourself, you're finished. That's it. Like a mob of like 12 spiders will show up and jump you, and you're done. That's it. We also learned about mods, by the way. And there are some of the most hilarious mods for this game. Shalene, I can't even tell you. There's a mod for the detonator that when it explodes, it actually makes a farting noise, and it like reverbs through the whole cavern. It's
that's
hilarious.
incredible.
There's another mod where you can put googly eyes on all the creatures to make them less scary.
I think all games should have that option.
Yeah. There is a mod where you can swap in quotes of Danny DeVito saying things instead of the monsters like screaming. It's just so ridiculous, and it's actually just so much fun. And the beers are so good. There's all these different types of beers. There's one, we call it the fabulous beer because when you drink it, you shoot sparkles everywhere.
Ooh.
And then you're like beautiful. And there's a beer called the Underhill Deluxe, and it turns you into a tiny little hobbit for like
how cute.
a few seconds, and your voice goes all high pitch. And then there's one that's opposite. It makes you really huge. There is one beer that we haven't tried out yet, but we discovered it on the list. You drink it, and it's called the Wormhole Stout or something like that, and it teleports you to some random location outside of the space station in space. And then so the mods are awesome, but damn, those deep dives are hard. It's like I understand now what Elden Ring is like. It's hard. And then I'm like, I feel like a failure. Like I'm on the Deep Rock Discord, and I'm like messaging in the Deep Rock discussion chat, like, guys, does anyone have tips? Like, my friends and I have been trying to do this for days, and we've done this mission like 9 times, and we just fail every time in the second phase. What are we doing wrong? And like, these are our build outs, and blah 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 blah. And everybody's like, should be fine. Don't know what you're doing wrong. And I'm like, that's not helpful. Like, so I was, and like Jess doesn't, she doesn't fold to failure either.
No.
So like today, just before the show, she's like, I'm going to do some research while you're doing the podcast, and I'm going to figure out how we do this deep dive, and then we can do it, and we'll figure it out, and it'll be fine. And I was messaging her throughout the day today. I'm like, what if we just like ran through the whole mission, and we like ignored all the bad guys and just like speed run and did the objectives. So I don't know. Some of the objectives are like, you've got to find some alien eggs and put them into the mule, which is your little robotic dog that carries all your stuff. There's these little mules that get left behind on the asteroid. You got to find their legs and reattach them. There's this one mission with a drill dozer. It's like a drill that just like mines through, and you've got to protect it and keep it operating. And then there's things that you have to collect, like minerals and things like that. Shoot certain animals and collect their things and stuff. So it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. You should play it with us.
It sounds like there's a lot of depth to this game.
That's what keeps me going back to it.
Yeah.
It was totally unexpected. Like I was like, I'll give it a go because it's on sale. I'm not really into this, but I'm like hooked now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different like weapon modifications, and like each mission you've got to like think about what's going to be there. Like we're the new deep dive that has reset and it's available for I think a week is set in like this snowy cavern with all these ice crystals. You're literally in an ice palace. So you can't use any cryo weapons because it's not going to work on those guys, right? You've got to use fire, or you've got to use like poison. And each type of character has different weapons and different throwables. So my character, because I usually play the scout, I've got a pheromone grenade. So I throw it at the enemy, and then all the other enemies go and attack that one enemy. And it's just like you're watching them consume each other, and it's really convenient. And then I've got dual automatic pistols, and then an automatic rifle that I use, and then a grappling hook, which is like a lifesaver. The grappling hook is like when things are attacking you, you can just like nope right out of there. But anyways, that's Deep Rock. That's my gameplay.
That sounds really fun.
What have you been up to?
I actually played some video games this week,
Huh?
so there's that. I know it's been a minute, hasn't it? But imagine a
Tell
video
me.
game
Tell me all the
podcast
things.
person playing video games. So I played some Overcooked with Archon, and we had a grand time. We have made it up through the end of World 5. And just to remind you, it is not enough for us to pass the level. We must 3-star the level before we can move on. So we have 3-starred every level through World 5. And honestly, it's there were some moments where we were tested. We were
Oh,
really
dear.
tested. And this man is so patient with me, and he's amazing. I would have killed me many times.
Okay.
Yes,
Tell
but
me more.
Arjun's
Tell me more.
lovely.
Okay.
So there was this one level that had 3 different phases. It took us a while to get past this one. The first phase had these islands floating by on lava, and you couldn't really get to each other over those islands.
I've played that level.
Yes, it was so hard. So we would do prep work during that segment. And then the second phase of the level was this black hole situation, and the cooking stations were just sliding around
Oh,
everywhere.
yes. Yeah.
Um, and then the final stage was just basically a normal kitchen, but the recipes and ingredients increased like by double. So that was a really tricky one. And the whole session was pretty tricky because we had to relearn all the controls. It's been months and months since we played Overcooked, and neither of us could remember how to do anything.
Right.
And we would think, hey, isn't there a way that I can throw you an ingredient? Isn't there a way to do that? And then we spend the next 3 attempts at the level just hammering buttons until we figure out how to throw
Isn't
a
it?
turnip.
It's double control?
I use a controller, so it's
Oh.
hold the X button on controller. Yeah, but we did have a grand chaotic time, and I'm looking forward to diving into World 6.
This is Overcooked 2. Yeah?
Overcooked 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
Overcooked 2. That's
Overcooked
right.
is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard though.
Yes, it really is. I feel like this is the kind of game that tests relationships.
Oh, absolutely. It's like such a communication building game. Like, yeah.
And when
yeah.
you sync with your partner, and you're both, you have everything down, there's like a magical time where everything is going right.
Yeah.
And it can fall apart so easily.
Yes.
And sometimes it's the stupidest things. There was one level where there was a platform on each side, and the other person had control of the other person's platform.
Yes.
So,
I hate that one. That's what there's like 3 jutouts, and you've got to like go to the
That's the one.
Jess and I played that one, and I was throwing pasta from the bottom of the screen to the pot in the top of the screen, and then like moving her to get her thing, and then me trying to get back up to where the pasta before it started burning. That's a hard one. I know
it was tricky. And there were several times that I died because I would move, I would navigate in a way that Archon did not expect. So he would think, well, obviously she's going to take this route, so I'll move the thing there. But instead, I would go to the left, or I would go to the right, and then I'm in the lava.
Oh man.
And I just like straight up dropped him a few times because I'm a doofus.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. We had the best time. So
goodness.
Really, really good.
I have found that I am better at playing Overcooked when it's just 2 people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've played, you and I, with 2 other people. That was chaos.
It was complete chaos.
And I've played with other groups of people at like house gatherings and stuff, and it's just chaos. It doesn't work. Because there's always going to be somebody out of that group of 4 people that goes outside of their job description. And then it screws everything up. And like I'm totally guilty of that. And so it just happens. But when there's 2 people, then
it's
there's
easier
less
to
of that
sync
happening.
up. Yeah. But
Oh, I want to
We
play
had a
Overcooked
great
now.
time. It was so fun. Played a little bit of Fallout 76, just working on my PC achievements, but mostly I have stayed away from 76. I'm enjoying my scorecation, and I'll dive back in next week when the update hits.
Okay.
I reinstalled Elder Scrolls Online. I really want to love this game, and I'm going to give it another try. And I haven't put in enough time this time to say yet whether or not I enjoy it. I'm not even sure yet if I'm having a good time.
Really?
Yes, I've only put in a few hours. I did a tutorial, and it was completely different than whatever I had played previously. So I don't know if that's a new addition to the game, because it's been years and years since my previous attempt to play ESO.
Okay.
So I made a mage character, and combat was a lot more fun than I remember it being. I really enjoyed the combat in the tutorial. And I made it to this portal room. And in this room, I'm in like a castle type room, and there are these doorways to other worlds. And apparently these are the different areas in the game. So you get to pick where you start out in the world.
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed by choices and quit. So I'll go back to it over the weekend, and we'll choose a place to go. But I really do enjoy my mage lady. I think last time I was a stabby rogue. And we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Okay.
I also put some time into Stray, and
Yes.
man, this game is so good. I've really enjoyed learning more about the world and interacting with some of the different robots. They have really fun dialogue. All of the different robots, they're living their little robot lives, and it's so fun seeing the different ways to interact with them. My favorite thing was I found a side quest where you can bring sheet music to a robot who has cobbled together a guitar out of an old jerry can, like a gasoline,
Yeah.
like a jerry can. And this character tells you, I'm a musician, but I don't have any music. And so I found some sheet music, and I was like, I know where to take this.
Right.
And I took it back and gave it to the robot, and they were like, I think I can play this. And they started to play the song, and it was this beautiful, relaxing song. And so I snuggled my little kitty into the cushions beside her while she was playing, and just listened to her play. And you can feel the cat purring through the controller.
Oh, because it like vibrates?
Yes, and it's really, it very accurately simulates the purring, and it was
Brilliant.
so nice. It was just such a pleasant time. I loved it. The robots they're all really interesting characters. There was one situation in which I distracted someone with my meow button and got him to drop a can of paint down like 3 stories, and the other robot is cursing
Jeez.
him, why you keep dropping paint in front of my door. And the little puzzles are interesting, and causing chaos as a cat is just a wonderful time. I really enjoy it. It is very upsetting though when you get the cat hurt. There are enemies in the game, and the previous play session that I had an encounter with these creatures, and I didn't have a problem, but this time I got my kitty killed, and it was devastating for me. I was so upset. I just had to put the game down and go read a book because it affected me,
right?
To get the poor kitty hurt.
It's like those movies where like the dog dies and then you're like, I can never watch this again.
Yes.
Are you going to be able to go back to it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I definitely want to see more of Stray. I'd like to get to the end of this one. I'd like to see the end of this game.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've had a pretty productive
Yeah, I
week.
also just installed Food Truck Simulator, which I'm pretty stoked about playing.
Ooh.
Yes.
I want to play that.
It sounds like a great time.
Is it co-op?
Revamped. I don't think it is co-op. I can check.
Food truck
But you revamp your
simulator.
food truck and like paint it and decorate it, and you cook
Oh,
the
this looks
food
great.
and you have to drive the truck to the location where you're going to sell food.
Oh, I love
You
this.
have to take the traffic into consideration and stuff. It looks fun.
Ah, you got to deep fry the fries. And this lady with the cleavage. Wow.
I'm looking forward to checking that
Oh,
out.
it's a
Does
demo.
say if
Is it
it's
a
co-op?
demo? It's a demo?
What I have is a beta version.
Oh, okay. Looks cool. I want more
Yeah.
simulators like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. Well, folks, that is a show for us. Don't forget the show's sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend. $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. You can email the show at info@wejustlovegames.com or post a message or question in the Mailstack channel in our Discord. You can also join our Discord if you like by navigating to twitch.tv/wejustlovegames, and the link is directly there in our about information. We are also on Twitter. You can find the network Twitter page at We Just Love Games, Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/groups/We Just Love Games. And we record the show live every Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. I should mention, though, that I don't believe I'm going to be here next week, right? I am in Calgary for... Yes, I am not going to be available next week. So Shalene will either find a guest or bring you a stream or not do a show. We will let you know as the week progresses. So you're muted, Shalene.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll stream some food truck.
Yeah. And then don't forget, you can find the show if you've missed the live recording. You can catch the recording on YouTube's iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and several other podcast platforms you can think of. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. We do want to take a moment and thank you all for listening and joining us this week. We love you guys. Shalene, last word?
I have none. I have no last word.
Go play some games. Enjoy your weekend. And hopefully you've got good weather where you're at. We love you. Bye.